Moderator, it gives me great pleasure to bring the report of the Nomination Committee to the General Assembly. This is my fourth and final speech, and for the first time, I'm delighted to be able to share with Commissioners that we received enough nominations this year. Thank you. It's taking over as I did in May 2020, when we did not, of course, actually meet in General Assembly, my term of office has been very different to all my predecessors. The 2020 report was eventually delivered in an empty Assembly hall in October of 2020, which is why I, unlike my predecessors, am presenting for the fourth time. The subsequent years have seen further change and transition. We now meet virtually rather than in person as a committee, and the committee numbers are fewer, but possibly more focused because of this. I cannot thank the team that makes up the Nomination Committee enough for their diligence and insight. They have risen to the challenge, and their contributions and dedication have been truly invaluable. If you could imagine, we meet virtually. For every nomination form, there is a vast amount of information to read, and in preparation for our meeting that goes over 2 days, each of our members reads upwards of 100 forms and works out exactly where the gifts lie in order to make up the nominations. This year, our challenge was bigger because we were asked to create a whole new body, the Faith Action Programme Leadership Team. The interviews and recruitment for this were rigorous, and we took time to seek the right people for a very challenging new way of working. The membership includes no longer nominees from presbyteries, but appointees from presbyteries. It includes those who have very particular experiences and skills, and it is hoped that it will be able to grasp the vision of what is practical, missional, and aspirational for the future of the Church. One of the biggest challenges we face when considering nomination to any of the standing committees is to ensure that there is balance. We seek to achieve a balance between ministers and elders, age profiles, geographical spread, and gender. And it is not a small task. We strive to ensure that in all final tallies, wherever possible, there is balance. This year, as we began, we received nominations from 67 men and 53 women. We received nominations from as far north as Orkney and as from far south as Jersey. We received nominations from ministers, deacons, elders, and congregation members, and they were nominated by ministers, presbyteries, kirk sessions, guilds, deacons, and elders. In the final tally, new appointments to standing committees were offered to 49 men and 43 women. The process for appointing conveners to standing committees varies between each committee, each adopting their own process, consulting the nomination committee, and outlining the steps they've taken to reach their preferred appointee. For the new Faith Action Programme leadership team, we conducted interviews via Teams and had conversations with a variety of folk who had both vision and enthusiasm. And we feel that this will give the new body the best start possible in this season of change and challenge for the Church of Scotland. Many of the reports that we've heard this week have been difficult to listen to. There is a sense of fear and anxiety for what the coming years will bring. We are in a season of transition, coming out of the pandemic and into a church which is experiencing accelerated decline. We need to come together to find new ways of working. There are hard choices to be made, but there is also hope. There are still those who are prepared to offer their services to the wider church, And there are still those who are prepared to give their time and skills and share their knowledge and understanding to help us move forward, embracing necessary change and finding a new and hope-filled future. And this gives me hope, even in these demanding days. As I deliver this, my final report as convener, there are changes afoot within our committee and the staff support team. I'm delighted to present in nomination my vice convener, Andrew Gardner, to take over from me, and I wish him well as he takes on the convener role. For the staff, Dave Kendall has been the committee secretary for the past 4 years, but we now welcome Victoria Linford as she takes up her new position as Presbytery Resource Advisor, working very closely with both presbyteries and as the secretary to the nomination committee. Karen Lunt has been the administrator for the committee for many years, and her depth of knowledge has been a real blessing. Gordon McNaughton has been shadowing her all of this year and has gradually taken the reins as we went. And I know that he will be a great asset to the committee when they start up again after the summer to prepare for the next round of nominations. Thanks to all who have worked with us in whatever way, and I wish those retiring from the committee well in the season to come. Moderator, it gives me great pleasure to present the report of the nomination committee and move the deliverances.
Seconded.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Questions to the convener? Seeing none, I move section 1, receive the report. Excellent. And again, I'm seeing no requests to speak, so section 2 and online. Thank you. Okay. We have a notice of motion in the name of the convener. That's you.
Yes, moderator. This is tidying up as much as anything else. These are nominations that have been confirmed after the reports went to print, and so they are as in the print. Do you want to read it? Thanks, Fiona.
Right, are we ready? Add at the end of section 3, subject to the following alterations: Faith Action Programme, Resource and Presence Programme Group Minister appointed Terry Peterson, Gurrock St John's, 3 years. Appointments to legal bodies, Discipline Tribunal, Vice Convener appointed Dr. Kirsty Hood, KC. Personnel Appeal Group, Delete Minister appointed Norman Smith, Lothian and Borders Presbytery. Registration and Ministries Committee Convener appointed Robert Hamilton, Airdrie, New Welland, 2 years. Safeguarding Committee Vice Convener resigned Fiona Reynolds, May 2023. Vice Convener appointed Judy Wilson, Cardross, 1 year. Member resigned Judy Wilson, May 2023. Judicial Panel Minister resigning Marjorie McLean. Thank you, Moderator.
Thank you, Principal Clark. And so that we have completely got every T crossed and I dotted, the business convener has seconded this. Okay. So we move to, Assembly approving section A3, the new section A3, and online. Okay. Section 3 in the print. No? Yes? Yes. Yes, section 3 in the print. And online. Okay. Okay. Section 4. And online? Okay. Good. We're good to go. Section 5. Great. Section 6. Okay. Section 7. Section 8. Section 9. Okay. Section 10. Section 11. We have a new section 12 in the name of the convener. That's seconded. Thank you. Principal Clark, would you like to read it out? Do you want to say something first, Julie?
Yes, thank you.
Great.
Thank you, moderator. We bring this in order just to do a bit of tidying up as far as the appointments to the Face Action Programme leadership team. We realised, I was talking to David Cameron from the Assembly Trustees, that we had no mechanism written in to either of his report or my report on how we appoint conveners and vice conveners as time goes by. So this is simply a tidying up note.
Excellent. Thank you, Julie. Principal Clark.
Thank you, moderator. We insert a new section 12. Instruct that the structure and remit for the Faith Action Programme leadership team as set out in Appendix 3 to the report of the Assembly Trustees should be amended by deleting the first and bullet point entries in section 4 and substituting the following: a convener appointed by the General Assembly through the Nomination Committee, 4 vice conveners appointed by the General Assembly through the Nomination Committee, to deputise for the convener when unavailable and lead programme groups, with one of the vice conveners to be designated on the recommendation of the Nomination Committee as deputy convener.
Is the Assembly happy to accept? Great, thank you. And another new section 12 in the name of the convener. Seconded, thank you. Julie, would you like to speak to this? Thanks a lot.
Yes, certainly. The Registration of Ministries Committee convener had to tender her resignation at short notice, and so we're very thankful to Robbie Hamilton from Airdrie Newell Wind for accepting the approach and invitation to be the convener. It is a 2-year term in order to complete the previous term.
Okay.
Thank you.
Principal Clark.
Thank you. Add a new section 12 and renumber. Appoint Robert Hamilton, Airdrie Newell Wind, as convener of the Registration of Ministries Committee for 2 years until May 2025.
Thank you. Is the Assembly happy to accept? And online. Thank you. And the deliverance as a whole. Thank you. Well done. Julie, if you could come forward. I like to say to conveners, go well and enjoy the downtime. You've earned it, alas. The new presbytery clerk for Forth Valley and Clydesdale, so that ship has sort of sailed. You brought consistent leadership in a time when the nomination committee could have felt at sea because the familiar ways of working were suddenly unavailable. You employed your welcoming approach to new members so they felt part of things from the very beginning. You brought your energy to proceedings and decisions so the church navigated changes that aren't for the faint-hearted. And you will continue to share that energy and insight and innovation with us, and we are so glad. I do pray that you get some breathing space, and I ask that you try to take some. Raise the gaze if you ever feel swamped, and know we are all with you. Go well, and thank you.